Heyo! It's me, Harper Savage, and today we're going to be going over every coloring page I finished in 2022. So here is an example of me tearing out pages. I have since decided that if it's perforated, I probably won't be tearing it out unless I'm using it for like scrapbooking or something. But yeah, I have a couple. There's just two of these two. I'm going to show you the back side of where I did tear them out of the book, and you can see it's the early 2022. Yeah, this was just color pencils. I think they were probably the Koh-i-Noor Polycolors, I think they're called. And this one, I believe, were my charcoal pencils. My chalk pastel pencils, not my charcoal pencils. I don't have those. I don't remember exactly which book either of these came from, so there's that. Since we kind of did the loose leaf ones first, I figured why not show you guys the ones that I put into my planner. So we have this watercolor page. It came from Michaels, and I used their watercolors that were included with it. It's a pre-printed design, and I just, you know, painted it like a coloring book, but with watercolor, and it's watercolor paper. And here we have another one. It's the same exact thing, just a different set. This was colored pencils and some alcohol-based markers. Here we have a cutout from a coloring page. I think there was like a whole design around it too, and I just didn't like it, so I just took the wren and colored it in and pasted it in here. The wren was done with super tips. Then here is, I believe, the last one. It's a cool looking fox that again I cut out. I think this is the only thing on the page though, so it's just a bunch of empty white space. This is also done with super tips, but it looks nicer because the lines kind of cover up any streaking. Let's get into the actual coloring books. So we have A Million Mermaids by Lulu Mayo. Now I had originally planned on coloring this all throughout May, and I just didn't have enough time to. So we have the first page. This is test page. I even like wrote down what works on this paper and what doesn't, because this was my first Lulu Mayo book I colored in. And then I colored in this page. Some of it is pencil, some of it is Crayola super tips, some of it is pen, I think, ink pen maybe, and Posca markers. Here we have this double page spread done with, it looks like super tips were like the primer layer, and then I colored over it with colored pencil. I'm not gonna remember what color pencils I used on each spread because I didn't write down for a good chunk of the year. I didn't write down what books I colored in and what I colored with, and it would be too much work to look in my coloring log anyways, because they're not in the order of the books, they're in the order I colored them in. And we have this one. This one I remember I was coloring when my power was out or something like that. I was like in a corner with a light coloring when my power was out. And then we have the mermaid mandala page with, some of it is ink pen, like the Papermate ink pens, and the others are water-based markers. This one was also colored with the ink pens and some Crayola super tips, and I leaked somehow on this page here and here. And there's also some color pencil up there. I didn't feel like coloring the whole background in though. The leaks actually did get onto this page, but I covered them the best that I could, like it showed up right there. And I colored over it with a Posca marker here. The background is Posca, and the base over her hair was watercolor. And then I colored over top of it with colored pencils. I really like the color scheme I had going for this double page spread. That is it in my A Million Mermaids coloring book. Now we have A Million Magical Creatures by Lulu Mayo. Here we have this spread. Both of these I believe I colored when I was away house sitting. I remember not liking the paper for the type of pencils I was using because the paper was too smooth for the pencils. So it didn't work out when it came to larger areas, but it worked fine on smaller areas like on this page. And I used Crayolas for the primer base layer. And here we have another one that I wasn't really that happy with, but this is all Crayola super tip. Now here we have this one. I actually showed this one, I believe, twice in two different flip throughs, because one, I like put all the super tips down and I'm like, I'm done. And then I came back later and was like, I'm not done. And I did all of the shading and stuff with my color pencils. Then here we have like a little quick and easy one that I colored in with some Crayola Super Tips, and then I did like textures on the fur with some color pencils. But that is it for A Million Magical Creatures. Now we have this book, Cottagecore Galore by Katie Vaz. That looks like a Y to me. Maybe that's a cursive Z. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen a cursive Z. So here we have this double page spread of sunflowers and ladybugs. They were both colored with Super Tips. I wanted to see what worked on this paper because it's front and back. And that is it for my Cottagecore Galore book. Now it's time for what we've all been waiting for. The Pusheen book! Yay, Pusheen! Oh, here we have the first page where I was testing out what could work in this book, and I used Crayola Super Tips, some Posca glitter pens, and a watercolor brush pen thing. And that doesn't work very well. You'll see the bleed over here. This was colored with Crayola Super Tips, and on top it was shaded with some color pencils. I really like this page. Then I colored the next couple pages almost immediately after that one. This one is Posca, and I went over all the lines again with a black Posca marker, because as you can see on this page, some of the lines don't print black in this book for some reason. I don't know why. And this one was just all Crayola Super Tips, and I tried to take advantage of the way the streaks were going. This one was Posca markers, and there's like a really light blue background that was done with a color pencil. I really like the color scheme. I tried to do like a 90s theme. Then I tried to use the same color scheme over here, and I was just kind of coloring to color, I think, and I wasn't into it, so I'm still not really that happy with it, but I do like how the pages match. Let's zoom out a little bit now that we're in the bigger books. Now here is my neon and pastel page. I colored it with a Posca marker and some crayons, because I was seeing if crayons would work on this paper. I don't really like it that much, but that might not stop me from doing it again. And here we have these pages. I really like how this one turned out. I'm not too happy with the shading on the Pusheens himself, but I think everything else looked pretty good. Again, I was using these pencils that are very particular about what paper they work on. And I believe I colored this one when I was away. Now this one, I can't remember exactly what happened here, but I think I colored Pusheen and I want to say that one's Stormy. I can't ever remember which one's which. I colored them in with something else and it didn't look right, so I colored over top of them with a glitter and metallic Posca marker. You can't really tell that the Pusheen is different than the other one there, but Pusheen is glittery, and some of the flowers and everything around it is glittery, and then this one is metallic. This is the first page I colored with my Faber-Castell color pencils. I got the gold Faber ones, the cheaper ones. I'm not really sure which one. But yeah, I really like how they blended. They bloom a little bit, but you know, I can work with that. Here we have just kind of relaxing pages that I colored with some Super Tips. A lot of the pages that I color with Super Tips are me just winding down, because I'm not gonna create a masterful art piece. I'm just gonna color. So here we have odd colors for the Beach Essentials page, and then we have more odd colors for the mandala. Now we have this page. I only colored this page because Chi sat on the coloring book, and you can kind of see it here, and he wrinkled this page up. That's why I colored it, so I wouldn't be sick of it. I guess. I feel like I would never color it if I didn't color it right then and there, kind of thing, because it was bent and stuff, and I colored it with really cheap color pencils. So then we have this page. I was really interested in coloring the background for this one, and then when I was done, I didn't know what to do with the rest of it, so I just took I think I took the color inspiration from this page, but I'm not sure because they're dated way differently. This one was first. Maybe I took inspiration from that page to color that page. I don't know. Something happened here where I used similar colors. And here we have some similar toned colors on this page. I asked my Discord what color. I just said what color. I didn't specifically say what for, and somebody said red. Now this is more orangey, but it's a neon red. And then I just picked out colors that I thought would go with it for the fast food. Oh, these are Poscas, if I didn't say that. Here we have another quick page that I did because I just wanted to let off some steam. The fast food mandala page with Super Tips. Here we have the Jurassic Pusheen. I colored it like one of the Pusheens that we had in a claw machine at work. And I also got like a new pale, it's like I had two pale colors that I had gotten at the same time, and I wanted to see what colors they look like. So, and these are Posca markers again. I like coloring with Posca markers in larger areas in the Pusheen book. And we have this Let's Bake one. I tried to make everything in the red color scheme, like brown, pink, and red. I think it turned out pretty good. I don't know why I didn't put the date on here, but it was in 2022. Here we have this one. I killed off that gray marker, as you can see, and that's really why I want to color this page here. And then I colored this tortilla chip wrong, so it looks different from the rest. Again, this was Super Tips. Then we have our mermaid page with Poscas, and I kind of wanted them to be matching, but not super matching. And they're also glitter Poscas too. I think they're glitter Poscas. They might be the Mondo Llama glitter markers though, because it's so thick. It must be those. So here is the first page I regret in the Pusheen book. I hate the colors that I picked, and I attempted to color it for Halloween, but as you can see, it didn't get done on Halloween. And here we have one of my favorite pages. I know like quite a few people commented that they liked this page when I did a flip through for whatever month that is that I did it in. Now this is of Midnight, my first cat, and this is Cinnamon, my second cat that came before Chi, and this is Chi, my current cat. Then here's the last page. I believe this was a video. The background was Posca and everything else was my chalk pastel pencils, and it has been sealed with a fixative, so it doesn't rub off as much anymore. Not that it was good rubbing off, because it's like coverage like really nice. But that is it for the Pusheen coloring book. So here we have Color Morphia, like it's like a best of Kirby Rosanes or Rosannas type of book, and I did the coloring section. I really liked how this turned out, and I want to do more like this. It's watercolor and color pencil colored over it with a little bit of Posca glitter pens here and there. And that's all I did in this book because I have most of the other images in the other Kirby books, and I just want to color them in their original coloring book first before I do a second chance for them. Here is Anamorphia. This is my most colored in Kirby book. It probably actually was my first Kirby book, so that could be why I like it so much. I like kind of quickly colored these two. I wasn't really into it, and I did nothing, like I didn't shade it or anything. I just was trying to get it done to get it done, because I didn't want to come back to this and be like, I don't want to color this when the rest of the book was finished, you know? And now here's the page that I like the least that I've done so far in here. There was a video of this too if you want to check that out. Now this is a good one. This is a zebra, a rainbow zebra, like the gum. It said fill in the stripes, and like 2 or 3 of the stripes had some of the little characters that Kirby does, like this, in the stripes, and I just didn't want to do that. It's not my style, so it was hard for me to match it. That's why I didn't want to do it. But I like how this turned out a lot. This was watercolor and Posca marker for the stripes. This one's one of my favorites in here. I was getting really excited for Inktober. So this is all done in inks, and the bats are done with Posca markers. I did go over all of the bats with Posca markers. The only bats I added were the ones like in the moon, like a couple outside of the moon. But yeah, because the Posca marker dried matte, it looked kind of weird that some of them were a different texture, especially with how shiny the background is. I really like this one. This one's also a video, and I recorded it when I was sick, and the only reason I remember is because Chi was sitting all over the place, like in the video. Yeah, I did like opposites. I think it looks pretty cool. I like the color combo. And I like how I kind of simplify things. Like, there's a lot going on here, but because I decided to stick to only a couple colors here, it really kind of simplified the process for me. This is watercolor and some color pencils. Now here's another one of my favorite pages. Really like how the ink came out here. I did not think I was going to color it that nicely. when I saw how atrocious the watercolor base came out. But it all worked out in the end, I think. The background is Posca, and I don't think I said that in the video that this was flipped in. And that is it for my Anamorphia book. Now here is Sacred Heavens. This is a book I always call the wrong thing. I basically only color this book on stream. I haven't been able to the last couple of months because I've just been too busy. I think this one turned out pretty good, except for how pale the face is. I still have that opinion about the face being too pale. And I usually only do color pencils for these, but for this particular one, I did use some super tips. Here we have Taurus. Again, all color pencil. I like the color combo for this one. Now how I got the color combos for each of the zodiac signs is I kind of just googled what colors are that sign and came to like a general consensus about what colors to use, because there's always like exceptions and different opinions here and there, so I just did what I saw the most, you know? And here we have Virgo, also one of my favorites. I like how I colored in the background. And here's Gemini. I think it's my least favorite of the ones that I colored this year. I don't know, I just don't like the colors. Like, I think I could have done a better job if I hadn't limited myself so much. This is color pencil. I want to say there's super tips on here, but I'm not actually sure if that green is a super tip or a color pencil. Oh, and there's also some Posca for the sparkly parts. And here we have Cancer, also a good one because I like how I blended the background. And this one was also color pencil. And that is it for Sacred Havens by Lydia Hess. So here we have an Amazon printed book. It's one of my more recent books added to my collection. I actually really like the images in here. It's another simple book, kind of like Pusheen. I think I did a flip through of this on my channel. So here we have the first page. It's a froggy with a froggy umbrella. I like the cute, or sorry, the silly animal because their shapes remind me a lot of Squishmallows. And here we have our penguin from 12 Days of Arts and Crafts. It was colored with alcohol markers and some glitter Posca marker pen thingies. And then here we have a seal colored with Posca markers and Posca glitter markers. And that's it for my silly animal. Now we have just two more, and they're both colored by numbers. So here we have Beautiful Nature colored by numbers. As you can see, I got it at a discount, by Duncan Smith. And I colored the puffin on the first page. And the mountains. This was all with alcohol-based markers. They left some yellowing on the other page the black did. I did not know that was a thing until like I started watching other people's videos talk about it, and then it happened to me suddenly because I've colored with alcohol markers before and that never happened. So I was kind of shocked when it happened to me. And I also colored the parrot? I want to say it's a parrot on this page, and the yellowing went through both sides, so it came from the black over here. And then there's also some yellowing on this page from the greenish color. I don't know what determines how it yellows, like I guess how it's made or something. This was done with alcohol-based markers, but mostly Sharpies. And I'm pretty sure the alcohol-based markers that weren't the Sharpies are the ones that bled the yellow color. And then last we have Master Pixels Amazing Wildlife by Diego Jordan Pereira. I remember having a hard time saying this the last time I brought this book out. So here we have the first puzzle, which turned out to be a sloth. I colored it in super tips if you couldn't tell from all the streakiness. Actually, the brown was colored with a Paper Mate felt tip marker. I'm not sure what their line is called actually, but the felt tip one, you know. Then I did the next puzzle, which was a seal. It has like the most atrocious colors though. I think it looks awful compared to how cool this bear looks over here. Then we have a little parrot, maybe a parakeet. I'm not actually like sure what birds are called. But don't hate me. And I remember for this puzzle, I reversed the blues by accident. It was supposed to be white, light, dark for the puzzle, and I don't know what happened. I just mixed them up somehow. And then we have a moose. I'm not like, I don't hate the colors for the moose, but I do feel like they look kind of weird, like the red part of the moose. And there's also random white parts. I don't know what that's about. I know what it's about in the eye, but like the rest of it, I'm not sure. And then we have what I think is a hyena. I like the colors on this page. And that is it for my master pixels. Alright, so that is it for all the pages I colored in 2022. Hopefully the video is not too long. I know it's not as many as other people did, but I typically color it with color pencils, so it's a longer process than watercolors and markers. So I didn't get as many done on top of having a job that was very demanding, and also streaming. Those are my excuses and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, I hope to have another wonderful year full of coloring and coloring pages. Don't forget, my coloring book Flora and Fauna is now out for you to purchase. I have a flip through of this up on my channel if you're curious to see any of the images. I'll give you a little sneak peek on the back here. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope I can see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!